Hello. Heather, do we have any apologies for absence?
We don't, no. I'm expecting the other councillors hopefully to arrive in due course.
Do we have any declarations of interest? Minutes from meeting of the last planning committee in July. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eighth. Oh, Christmas.
Blinking on this year. Got a Halloween to get through first. Oh, fun.
We're already planning Christmas, you'll be glad to know.
Oh, good.
I like
I
that.
think you are.
Terrifying.
Lovely, thank you, yeah.
Chairman's report and urgent items. Any of those?
No, we have neither of those.
Are there any public questions in accordance with standing orders 22 and 23?
No, none have been received, Chair.
And any letters of objection?
No, none of those either.
So, we've got an extra bit of paper. The
Yeah.
ones that we
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
We'll come to that, yeah, when we get to that point.
Next time. So we're looking at applications registered weekend being the 12th of the 7th, 19th of the 7th and the 26th of the 7th. The first one, 5/2024, 11:35 doesn't meet the criteria. So we'll look at 5/2024, 11:54, please, Heather.
I'll just share the street scenes for the purpose of video. Okay, so number 35 Bale Close. Proposal is looking to introduce a first floor extension partially over the flat roofed garage and footprint of the existing rear ground floor element to create a fourth bedroom. There is a gap down the boundary of first floor level. The neighbouring property on the non-attached side, which is number 33, sits marginally higher in the street scene with the flat roofed garage between the properties, therefore reducing the impact on them. Real street car parking spaces are shown on the frontage. Consider no objection.
Agree?
Yeah.
Are we happy with that?
Happy with that.
Good. So 5/2024, 11:62, 11:29 don't meet the criteria, so we'll move to 5/2024, 11:70, which is for off close.
Okay, current bungalow property is sat on a large plot which splays towards the rear due to its positioning in the road, therefore providing space for expansion. Proposal is looking to add a mostly single storey but partially first floor side extension to the boundary of number 3 Ashcroft Close to create open plan living accommodation along with the reconfiguration of rooms at ground floor and 4 bedrooms in the roof space. The roof ridge height will increase by 400 millimetres to facilitate the bedrooms and will have half gabled ends which will maximise the first floor usable space without adding undue bulk, which will also assist in minimising impact on neighbouring properties. The roof will incorporate a hidden flat roof element which is not visible from the road, which will include solar panels. Due to its positioning on the plot, the proposals do not appear to pose a detrimental impact on the neighbouring properties. An integral garage and off-street parking is proposed on the frontage. No trees or hedging is to be removed, not conservation area, and I've said consider no objection.
Agree?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Great, good to go. So we'll now move on to 5/2024, 0950, which is 9A and 9B Raisbury Avenue.
Okay. This application is an application which the applicant has opted to submit directly to the Secretary of State for determination and is the first application put to this committee which requires the recommendation to be sent directly to the Secretary of State with SADC just a consultee in the process. The proposal appears to closely mirror the application which was submitted at the end of 2023, which this committee had no objection to but was withdrawn at SADC. Currently on the site is what presents as a single detached property, but is actually a pair of infill masonettes which are out of character with other properties in the street. The proposal looks to demolish the existing and replace with a single 5-bedroom detached property with accommodation in the roof space and designed to be in keeping with the neighbouring properties. The footprint of the new property covers a large area, especially at ground floor level. However, the front building line is set back further than the existing, and the first floor footprint projects rearwards the same distance as number 11 Rosebery Avenue. The roof ridge line is to be the same as existing due to the new dwelling being set 350 millimetres lower than the existing, despite the property being taller. 3 car parking spaces are proposed at the frontage. There are no tree works, with tree protection measures planned to protect the existing back garden trees. 2 air source heat pumps are proposed at the side elevation adjacent to the neighbour's garage. Solar panels are also proposed in the crown section and side hit element of the roof. The site is in the conservation area with both neighbouring properties locally listed. Landscaping and additional trees are proposed, and there are lots of letters of support online. And I've said consider no objection subject to the proposal not posing a detrimental impact on the neighbouring locally listed properties. Policy ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and policy 70, 85 and 87 of the district plan refers. Online highways also have no issue to it. However, the Harpenden Society have expressed a concern over the loss of 1 dwelling because we're going from 2 down to 1.
And why have they gone straight? Why was it pulled out of St Albans planning and then they've gone straight to Secretary of State?
I would probably hazard a guess is because of it being on determination. So the applicant was probably still waiting and there was no decision passed.
Okay.
So they withdrew, which means that actually I think that they don't have any cost incurred for doing that and have gone straight to the Secretary of State. So the district council are a consultee
Right.
and this exactly the same as we are.
Right.
So
Okay.
they'll
It's just because the delay, you think?
I think so, yeah, potentially, but there's been the changes in planning that enables applicants to do that. So
Yeah.
this is the first one that we've seen. So when it came through, I was like, one.
Cool.
I've never had one of these.
So what does it mean it goes to the Secretary of State? If we refuse it, it goes straight.
No,
It's gone already.
it's gone there already. So
They make a decision. So
So
I
who-
just don't.
I'm a bit lost, sorry, I'm being clear. Who makes,
Secretary of State will make the decision on the application and not St Albans District Council.
So probably their office as opposed to them, otherwise they end up with quite a big pile quite soon.
So, yeah, so it's kind of in a sense, by going straight to the Secretary of State, they're skipping the middleman. In a sense, I think that St Albans obviously hadn't determined the previous application and they were fed up with waiting, so they withdrew it and have submitted straight to the Secretary of State, which I believe will determine it much
Okay.
quicker.
And the Secretary of State is what you do is if you want to push something through.
So, yeah, so in I think what actually one of the other reasons which has enabled the option for applicants to do this is because St Albans were put into special measures because of their planning department were unfortunately falling behind and there was kind of various non-determinations of things. And I think they also refused a few applications that were then overturned by the Secretary of State. So it's a method that's now available to applicants. So in the normal process, district would say potentially refuse an application and then the applicant would go to the Secretary of State on appeal. They've gone straight to them, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Are we happy with it?
Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
I think
well, last
also-
time, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yep, we are.
and also the fact they're saying that it's gone from 2 to 1. Well, most of the dwellings are one dwelling on that street anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's obviously a dwelling which has been split.
Yes.
So it's just
It's like
in keeping
artificial.
with the, yeah,
Yeah.
in keeping with the road.
So we're happy with that?
Yep.
Good. 2024, 1088 and 1143 don't meet the criteria, so we'll leave to 2024, 1175, which is Holly Lodge, 10 Park Avenue South.
Okay, the property is already sizable and is located on a very spacious plot with a long distance to the neighbour. Proposals are relatively modest additions stroke amendments to the property which are in keeping with the style of the property, which is locally listed in the Harpenden Conservation Area. And I've said consider no objection.
It's lovely, isn't it?
So the house, this plot of land next door, which was part of Holly Lodge,
Yes,
is now, it came up for planning, didn't it? They wanted
It
to, and
did.
it's, so the house is going to go in there, isn't it?
I assume at some point, yeah. I mean, on this that I've just shown here, you can clearly see where the red line is splitting the plot to the right. Whether or not the plot has been sold and with the planning permission, but obviously development hasn't started there. So yeah, what they're looking to do is ultimately to remove the detached garage and attach it to the main house with a bit of an extension at the back.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Okey doke. So 2024, 1215, 1184, 1056, 1117 don't meet the criteria. Neither does 1174, 1178, 1288. So we'll now move to 5/2024, 1224, which is on another piece of paper.
Yeah, so that's the extra sheets that I gave, yeah.
So 94 Crabtree Lane.
Okay, properties on the end of the line of terraced houses with staggered roof forms as the road ascends. To the side is the rear gardens of Hollyhawk and to the rear are the gardens of Waybourne Close. The proposal is looking to add a rear flat roof dormer from the ridge heights across the full width of the roof, along with front relux windows to create 2 further bedrooms, which will be 5 in total across the property. The ridge height is not increasing and there are no further extensions as part of this proposal. There appears to be capacity to park 2 cars on the street and a single garage. There is an objection on line number 31 Waybourne Close from possible overlooking impact on privacy and increase in ridge height. I say consider no objection, subject to no loss of amenity to neighbouring properties, policy ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and 72 of the district plan affairs. So yeah, if I just sort of show this one here, so they live at number 31 Waybourne Close, and they were concerned about potentially overlooking into bedroom windows and sort of loss of privacy. So on the basis of the positioning of their property, I can't quite see how that would be possible. It would be different if it was window to window directly, then okay, I think that there's some merits in that.
Leaning out a lot, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so the fact that it's a dormer window, we're not talking about a balcony or anything like that. It's just a dormer window with windows that are going to be pointing directly outwards. I'm not quite sure that that concern of privacy would be founded, really.
I mean, it'd be quite dangerous to be living in that property and trying to look into number 31
Yeah.
Waybourne Close. Are we happy with that?
Yeah, I have no objections.
Okay, thank you. Good to go. So 5/2024, 1246 doesn't meet criteria, so we'll move on to 5/2024, 1251, which is 6 Manman Lane.
Right, okay, the property is detached with the ridge heights of properties in the street staggered due to the road ascending to the right of the application property. Proposal is for ground floor rear extension across the full width of the property, along with a first floor side extension partially over the flat roof side element. Most notable change is the increasing of the ridge height by what appears to be just over a metre to provide 2 further bedrooms in the roof space, which will be 6 bedrooms in total. With rear dormer windows and the addition of extra glazing to the frontage and a side extension which adds bulk to the appearance. Property is set back from the road with a good length drive capable of parking 4 cars. Property will take on a more dominant and modern look to the other properties in the direct vicinity, but I believe not to the detriment of the street scene. I say consider no objection.
So they're only going out at ground floor level.
So yes, so
Yes.
they're going up basically.
They're going out the sides and they're blocking it off, aren't they?
Yeah.
Boxing it, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going out fully across the back, and then a little bit of an extension to the side at 2-storey level, over
But
the.
that shaded is ground floor.
It's the
level.
ground floor, yeah. Yeah, and I think then if you turn your page, you'll probably see what I'm just looking at here, which is a bit obscured, admittedly. think kind of the main dominance is the fact that it's increasing in ridge height, and then there's this extra
yeah.
central element which has got some rather long windows. But it is, the road is made up of a collection of different styles of beauty, and some of them I think are very extensive.
Okay, we happy with that?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We need to keep talking through both. We'll need to go back to the bigger one after we've done the smaller slip, yeah.
So we're now looking at 5/20/24, 1163, which is 44 Park.
The proposal is looking to add accommodation in the roof space by changing the roof form from hitched to gable end and the addition of a rear dormer window to create 2 additional bedrooms in the roof space, along with the introduction of a lift to the first floor. There will be a total of 5 bedrooms. Other houses in the street appear to have done similar. The garage is a Ross's Park proposal, and there only appears to be 1 off-street parking space with no plans for more. Despite there being parking available in the road, there is a trend for cars to park partially on the pavement, therefore restricting pedestrian access along the pavement. And I say consider, whilst the committee have no objection to the proposed loft conversion and roof alterations, they do express concern that there is inadequate parking provision provided for the size of property. This is 40 and 72 of the district plan affairs.
And are there other properties down that road that are 5 bedroom as well?
Potentially,
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. So I mean, you can see actually in this picture here that I've taken the ones on to the right, so going down the hill, they're bungalows.
Yeah.
And then
I
the
think
ones on-
generally they've started off as 3 bedroom semi-detached houses that have been built out. And then you've got bungalows chucked into the mix. And generally, I don't think they were planning to be 5 bedrooms. Just keep
Well,
that on
ended
the
up-
up.
Yeah,
So they build on. So hence you've got no parking. I think a lot of people have done what you can actually see on that picture. So you take out your front lawn, front garden and put
Yes.
parking on it.
yeah.
You see, they've not, as part of this proposal, chosen to do that. It's literally one park. So in this picture here, okay, the garage probably doesn't fit a modern car. But
They'd probably take, I mean, they could,
We could put a mini around the corner, couldn't they?
yeah, so, but they're not, they've stated that they aren't adding anything in addition to it, so.
Well, I agree with your,
Caveat, on the basis that it's increasing to 5
Yeah.
bedrooms and we're going to
Not a
have
lot.
1 parking space.
yeah,
Because they state that they're a 1-car family, but they are maybe a 1-car family, but the future may be
well, they
not
might be a
a
one-car family now because they've got, I don't know,
Should be
2 or 3
yeah,
small
young
children, but then they're going to grow up and become teenagers who want a car. And then they'll be a 2-3 car family, and that's what's, so isn't it?
It is. Okay, happy with that. So we'll express concern on that one. So 5/20/24, 12/54. And 10/20, don't meet criteria, so we'll need 5/20/24, 12/38, which is 12 Wheat Hampstead Road.
The proposer is looking to, at ground floor level, extend view widths over the footprint of the existing dining room and further across, but not the full width with sections cut in to both sides. So the front is proposed to convert the garage into a store, add an enlarged porch along with a side extension to extend the utility and create a downstairs bedroom. At first floor, it's proposed to extend 2 existing bedrooms and add an ensuite. This is achieved by extending over the front ground floor, front extension and partially over the new rear extension. There is a good distance to the boundary and the neighbouring property set away from the boundary. Therefore, the possibility of negative impact is reduced. There is off-street parking for 2 cars, so consider no objection.
Do that.
Yeah, that sounds better.
So 5/20/24, 12/50, 10/24 and 12/60 don't meet criteria. So we'll now look at 5/20/23, 03/17.
Okay, so this is an application that's still actually out for consideration at the moment, but there's been some amendments submitted by the applicant. I probably won't go through the whole of all of this, history and stuff here, but I'll go through some of the salient points. So the site, which is currently agricultural land, is bordered to the north by residential properties in the East Common area of Harpenden. To the east is the mainline railway track. To the south is the open farmland, and to the west is further residential in the Bannonfield area of East Common. So the site is in the Metropolitan Green Belt and it borders the Harpenden Conservation Area. I suppose a key bit of information is that access to the site is possible from 3 roads. The single track cross lane, which bisects Harpenden Common Golf Club from the A1081, Grange Court Road, which is a private road, and East Common, which is narrow in nature. It's not possible to access the site from the east due to the traffic gate before the railway bridge to prevent vehicles driving over the bridge from the easterly direction. There's no pavement on Cross Lane or East Common, so pedestrians and cyclists share the carriageway with vehicles. Cross Lane is also regularly used by horse riders. The transport statement references pedestrians as the largest users of Cross Lane over vehicles. So there's up to 31 dwellings that are formed as part of the application, which 40% will be affordable housing and 60% will be custom self-build. The self-build properties are proposed to be designed and constructed in a passive house standard. There's a new public open space and orchard included. Most of the trees and hedgerows are to be retained, with just small sections of roadside hedgerows to be removed to facilitate access to the site. Obviously, there's a number of other bits and pieces of background information there, but the main thing that we're focusing on here are the amendments that have been submitted. So the amendments that have been submitted to the original application are minor changes to the design codes for the dwellings, which is essentially roof design, boundary treatments, windows and doors. The introduction of strategic street scene tree planting. Confirmation is not possible to provide first homes affordable housing due to the application predominantly for self-build properties. Confirmation that 8 affordable rental properties were proposed in the application, addressing the highways concerns in relation to reducing the width of the access way, additional passing place on Cross Lane, additional footway straight cycleway to the northwest of the site which connects the existing main loop lane, enhanced pedestrian and cycle connectivity to Southdown from the site. An updated transport survey shows that the proposed development is anticipated to generate 18 trips during the AM peak, 12 trips in the PM peak, and a total of 144 daily trips over a 12-hour period. This equates to a frequency of 1 trip every 3 minutes during the AM peak, 1 trip every 5 minutes during the PM peak, and an average of 12 trips per hour, which in the applicant's view would not adversely affect the operation of the highway network. Despite these amendments, fundamentally the committee's concerns from April 23 still remain. Therefore, I would suggest repeating the 2023 recommendation with reference to the amendments that have been submitted. So, yeah, basically, I consider takes into account those very words.
It looks like they are, you come down Cross Lane past the Banville Wood bit and then you kind of turn right into it.
Correct.
And then it's lots of loops. So they're not taking traffic further down Cross Lane.
They can't because of there's the gate.
Yeah.
So no traffic will come up from Southdown. You
No.
can't get up that
No.
way at all.
Just
And this-
walking access.
Walking and
Yeah.
cycling.
Cycling you can.
Oh, you mean over the railway?
Yeah, yeah, because although Cross Lane goes down and onto Cross Farm, it's very rudimentary now because it's only been used by bicyclists and
Horse
Why is that?
riders. And I think because the bridge is weak.
oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a great.
Yeah, it's, I think that they're restricting the traffic flow over it because it's too weak to cope.
So it would need a new bridge there in order to.
But then you'd come out down by Cross Farm, and that would be, they'd have to completely rebuild.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a grade 2, 3 listed building or whatever, they'd go, at the bottom there, that barn has to be at least grade 2 listed.
I think it is actually, yeah.
We had it before.
Yeah,
It's not a
most-
well thing they're trying to
Yeah,
bring.
most
aren't
of
they?
Cross Farm is grade 2 listed.
Yeah,
So that basically then puts all the traffic onto the.
All of it.
all of it will be on that.
on the
Common
St
side.
Albans, on the common side.
So bearing in mind, I mean, knowing how I've had to come out of Cross Lane, it is not the most easiest
No,
of
it's not a
junctions
good
to
turn.
see the traffic coming.
No, it isn't.
And
It
then,
dips down, doesn't it?
yes, and there's, you know, obviously we have sightline issues a bit with growth that can come up, things.
It's just, it's a tiny country lane.
This is really,
It's a tiny country lane and it's got houses, in the houses all down there, they have access. And then there's another building access behind it that you can loop through, but that's a private road, I think, isn't it?
Range Court.
Yeah, a bit further down where it says 121 metres, that road going in there, I think that's a private
But
road.
they don't want to take, if you look at the map below, you can see there's a little gap in the hedge in like the top left corner.
yeah.
Can
So
you
they're
see?
expecting.
So you come in that way, so you don't go anywhere down across.
No, but they
Cross
do
Lane,
have a
parallel
little
to Range
middle road that takes you down,
the side of it.
There's two
And pops
accesses,
out near
there's
the
two
bridge.
accesses.
but that road is, and are they gonna widen that? I missed all that. Are they gonna widen the road?
Not really. I think a tiny bit, but I don't think that they can.
So you
because
can't,
of-
it's not going to be, they're only going to do, it's still one vehicle thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they are adding an additional passing place. I don't think that they're able to expand the lane any wider because there's probably land ownership issues. You're okay in the bit that they have got access to or ownership of, but further along Cross Lane,
Couldn't you just take if you're buying this chunk of land, couldn't you just take the hedge out and just move the road wider? I mean, I
so you possibly could for the section that they've got control over, but then you're sending everyone along East Common.
yes.
It's all coming down here, aren't they? And
Yeah,
then
so I
up
mean,
through here.
you've got an awful long way to go to
Yeah.
get out onto the 1081.
But
Yeah.
what I don't understand is what's that entrance there? Because if you come out
That's
of
where the
there,
bridge is.
but you can't get over the bridge, can you?
No. So that is an absolute hole in the wall. I mean,
That's
to give
pointless.
you an idea, if I ride over the bridge and there's a van in front of me on that gate, I can't get a horse past.
No.
Because it's so narrow.
So
It's
that's really to
narrow.
access the properties that are dotted down here.
And yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
So a car coming out, or I just don't know how that
but
would
then you've got
work.
all these, 30 houses, so
Yeah,
260 cars coming down this way, and it'll be,
so I think the area up to the right is all of their kind of sort of their woodland and orchard and
This
everything.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then the houses, the plots are sort of more targeted towards this left-hand side.
that's the house,
Yeah.
yeah. So this could just be a pathway. It's
Yeah, it
not
could be,
necessarily
because we're just at the outline stage
Yeah.
at the moment, you see, they haven't gone into.
I really don't think they could have any kind of entrance or exit up by the bridge.
Yeah.
Because you've got a house, there was a scrubby bit of wasteland that they built a house on. And it's very congested with a horse and a car, never mind anything else.
Yeah, it's just because there's a gap in the hedge like there is
Yeah,
here. which
And that's, I don't even see how
Might
you,
be a pathway though, might not be a
at
car.
the moment, it's a permissive bridle way. So you moment, you can go in that entrance and it's a permissive bridle way down the side of the railway track.
Yeah,
So what happens to the permissive bridle way?
Because it's permissive, I think it's no longer permissive. It's shut down, I guess, which is a real shame.
It currently is now.
At the moment, it's permitted,
Okay.
but I think with permitted bridle ways.
Yeah,
when you-
the landowner can choose, I mean, if
Whether
they
it's open
decide,
or not.
we've got a permissive right of way, not where I keep my horse, and they will shut it on days when they're shooting.
Yeah.
Because they allow you to use it, but obviously for safety reasons, they will shut it, and there's signs at the end
So
where they
far
just
as-
flip them over and say that it's
As far
closed.
as I'm aware, that is very much a permitted bridle way. It'd be a real shame to lose it. I don't know whether they could keep it open. Maybe they will, because that you said that was an orchardy bit.
Yes, yeah, I
And they
think
might
so.
keep
yeah.
that.
it doesn't look like there's any house, when you get
Yes, they've got-
close up to it, you can't see any houses down there.
There's no
So
lot
say
of
something could be
others,
put in a
no.
planning application for other houses.
Well, they were, yes, exactly, they'll make it 80, won't they, rather than
Yeah.
31.
Sorry, I was.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just don't think it meets the special circumstances requirements. And at this stage where we're moving from green to grey, I feel that this is very much green. And if this
It's very
goes,
green.
then that so much will go. If it sort of like moves into that sort of territory. I think, you know, what Heather said is absolutely right. The fact that it sits where, I think, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about it earlier, Vicky. It's so close to the common, it's so close to East Common, there's no footpath. As you say,
And the other
there's
thing is as
sort of-
well, once you lose this field, what's
Yes.
to stop the
Yeah.
field behind it?
Yeah.
And you just, all those fields along there, up to Ayers End Lane.
I just don't think it meets the
And
criteria. I think there are
It's a
areas
very green
that are
area.
greeny grey belt, but this one I think is very green belt.
And the roads are tiny going into it as well.
I mean, even though they've been quite clever, just dropping people in that left side,
it's still
through the
it's
golf
still-
course, it's
yeah,
still tight.
It's still really
Very
tight getting in and
tight,
out of
it is,
there.
Can I just check something with you? What is the 8 affordable rental properties proposed in the application?
Yeah, so they would be 8 of the units would be, or the plots would be given to whoever the housing authority is for the district at the time, for them to basically to utilise.
So would they be social housing? Would it be council property?
I don't know. I suppose it depends what they choose to put under the affordable, whether or not it is social housing or if it's, you know, in terms of what like Westfield was, or if it would be affordable rent ones. It all just depends. They're essentially given to the district and they will utilise them how they see fit.
Right. Is that specified within the planning application? Or is it?
So I think that, so ultimately 8 plots will be offered,
Okay.
built to the spec or whatever of what the plannings, what housing as Northerns wish them to be.
Okay.
So I think we've down at Westfield, we stipulated that they were to be fully social housing, whereas affordable can also cover key worker housing, can cover what do they call it, shared ownership, or fully offered to people who are on the housing list.
Okay.
So I think
Does South Hopenden have like an envelope? You know, like villages have the envelope around it, so you can't build beyond the envelope.
no. Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with everything everyone said. I'm just wondering who actually makes the decision, and can they just not skip it and go to Secretary of State?
They can. If they choose to. I mean, we're quite along in the process already, going on to the 2023 application. Then what can they?
So when was St Albans then due to make a decision on it?
It was included in the local plan, and if you remember, we objected to it being involved in the town council. And obviously, we're awaiting to see what the next stage is, whether it's been included or not. But I suspect
But
because
do we
we're at
know
this
the
stage.
single sites, are they?
Interestingly as well, I think it is actually 2 fields, it's not 1, isn't it? I think so, because that hedgerow in the middle of it is actually, don't you think?
Yeah, so I think actually if you look there, you can see that they're probably, you're right, Vicky, that there is that L shape probably is.
Yeah,
I think there's a hedgerow running in the middle of it, and then there's actually some field the other side as well.
So when's the decision due then?
I don't know. I can have a little look actually and see what St Albans have down as being the determination date.
Enjoy the stubble this year. Better enjoy the stubble this year.
yeah. And yeah, I just don't think it qualifies for special circumstances. It's quite worrying if it does. For all the other sites that have been identified.
I think we're at least a year.
We asked it to come off, didn't we? And another one to come off as well.
And all that, and they've got to do completely new water, sewage, power. I thought that's interesting what, you know, that's all got to be put in, hasn't it? Hopefully we've got enough water and everything. The infrastructure that's able to be put in there.
So, yeah, I mean, well, this doesn't help us at all. So actually, it was due for determination in May last year.
But,
Then we had the local plan thing.
yeah,
All I can assume though is although that's down there as saying that, there's the fact that the developer, the applicant has submitted some amendments. Probably they don't mind that it's
taking so long.
taking a little while because it's giving them the opportunity for them to supposedly address the
Yeah.
concerns. I mean, I'm sort of just looking here, the numbers of objections online is
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are all dated now.
And there's lots of signs up around it as well.
Well, yeah, because they have to.
No, there's signs from the residents.
Oh, I see,
Um,
what kind of lobbying?
Lobbying of you, objections.
Yeah, there are endless, absolutely endless objections on here.
Okay, so what are we going to go for? What did we do last time?
Well,
It came before us last time, didn't it? I think I was away at the time, so I can't.
Well, I'd refuse and stick to what is like. The amendments don't take it any further for me. It's really, it doesn't, it falls at the first hurdle in terms of I don't feel that it's, if there are special circumstances to develop, you know, for the development and green belt location. And in terms of green belt location, I can't think of anything that's more obviously green belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
The greenest
Hertfordshire,
of green.
you know, in terms of common, golf club,
And also,
tracks.
it's got the permitted right of way and it is used by loads of people.
That's right, and horses and walking and.
Masses of
Yeah,
walkers.
not
I-
that far away from the Hartwood Forest, actually, is it?
Well, no, that's the whole thing. So people come out of that area and they walk down that part. So there's a bridleway there, then it joins onto another bridleway. And then you literally just cross over the
The
road.
bridge, yeah.
Where that bridge is, and then you can walk, there's a track that takes you, I think that's a recognised bridleway, yes it is. And then you can take that track down and you're into Hartswood. So there is actually there is a route for walkers, so you don't go, you come out of your residential area and you go all the way down into Hartswood without going on the road.
Safe, yeah.
So that, I don't know if that makes any difference. I sort of lose track of all. But I think it was refused last time due to
Other reasons.
the access to the site is totally inappropriate.
Has it actually been refused?
No,
No,
that's what we
no,
said.
Yeah.
Do we want to change, do we feel that the suggestions that they've made, does that in any way change our view of it? The decision from last time?
I think the only way to resolve it is to move it somewhere else. To address the concerns, you know.
So I think it says the access to the site continues to be wholly inappropriate. I think that
Yeah.
says all.
Yeah.
Suppose it doesn't meet the requirements for granting a special
What are
circumstances.
the,
you
what are
choose
the
it.
special circumstances?
Yeah.
Can't see them all.
Okay, so. Happy with?
I
with
agree,
my
yes.
words?
Yes, I think your word absolutely nails it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, for that. So we have an appeal decision which was dismissed, which was for the pub.
Yes, so I sort of briefly shared that, didn't I, last time?
Oh, I missed that one.
Requests. So number 6 High Street, which is the old M&Co building,
Yes,
so the
and they want
appeal.
to do the big patio thing.
They did, yeah, they wanted to do the sort of the second
Terrace.
floor roof terrace. They went to appeal and it's been dismissed.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, we'll wait and see what
Then-
happens.
Sorry, when did that get appealed?
To
State or
state,
St.
yeah.
And then I think also, does that mean they're going to sell it? Because they say they needed those extra tables to make a profit or something?
Yeah, so I don't know who the ownership still sits with, whether or not Oakman Inns were like, we're only interested if we get planning permission for what we want to do, or if they did actually buy the site, I don't know. But it's disappointing in the sense that we're back to where we were before, because it is a large site that you're not going to necessarily get somebody straight away interested in taking on such a large site. But yeah, I think what they were wanting to do was clearly not quite what we'd like.
Lovely. And then
There's another
another one.
Yeah, ignore that one.
Whitehall.
Yeah, ignore that one. I got carried away because of it's actually London Training. It was past me. It's like, what's in London Training? Oh, I was in Harpenden.
I don't remember seeing anything.
Because there have been a number of things in Whitehall that are wanting to extend to the rear. So of course I saw that and thought, oh, right, yeah, I'll look there. And then I was thinking, London Training. I'm so sorry, misleading you.
So we have Tree Works today. Decisions?
Yeah, the only one which I think is useful just for us to note, which is positive, is that the Catherine Warrington School, they put in an application to extend their car park. And that was
Yes.
wanted, yeah, that's been wanted, so that's
Interesting.
quite useful.
Yeah, considering they decided beforehand that no one needed cars to get school teachers and that.
Well, yeah.
What page is that on?
Page 29, it's the top, yeah, top of the page. The others are all fairly standard, to be honest, yeah. Excellent.
All happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. The meeting closed at 8:15. Thank you.
Pass all these over to you. You have the silver. Pass the paper.